So really interesting. I just had somebody say something that stuck with me. They said that they didn't realize how extensive STEM 1000 was. So I figured why not actually walk through it for people who maybe have never been to the site, and you can figure out where to navigate to. So when you go to STEM1000.com, this is the computer view. Of course, it looks a little bit different on your mobile device, like your phone. But you have your tabs at the top, right, for the books, family support, consulting, about. You can basically read about why I created this, even some of my background, and then of course the resources. So I'll just scroll through here, and we can touch on some of that. So the first couple things you see, of course, is keeping a running count of the books that have been processed and delivered. So we're past 50, pushing toward the first 100. With it being, STEM 1000, the goal is to, of course, reach 1000. And then on top of that, also over $4,000 in terms of scholarships, which I'll talk about. Created the STEM scholarship in memory of my mom 4 years ago. Have had four scholarship winners. You can subscribe here, get on the email list. First stop will be the books, so you can check out the books here. So here are all of the books that are available. The first two, kind of like the primary drivers of the initiative, which is A is for algorithms of success, STEM stories to inspire. A is for algorithm is primarily for some of our youngest learners, so ages 4 to 7 is basically what I say. Age wise for this one, where it's written in a like more rhyming format and introduces children to technology terms in alphabetical order, so A all the way down. So you can check that out. And then Algorithms of Success is 50 STEM career narratives. So it's great imagery where you'll see essentially black and brown children doing different STEM-based careers. And then also it'll offer like a narrative of how they got there. So this is really to help introduce some of those STEM careers, but also at the same time give some insight into like the pathway of like how do you actually get there and become that thing. And then, of course, you can set up bulk orders if you like. You get a discounted rate, of course, on that. And right now, these books are primarily being processed through Amazon, so um, you can order here. And then an additional resource that's actually digital only, so you'll see PDF only right here, is the Architecting Success STEM Guide. This is for teens, so students a little bit older. So we have our youngest here with AS for Algorithm, upper elementary, middle school for Algorithms of Success, and then for more like our high school students. This is a more interactive um, type of guide where you would download it and basically walk through the process of really navigating into what career pathway and like ultimately like for their future kind of trajectory could look like based on their interest and things like that. I want to note also for A is for algorithm, there are some activities in the back of the book. So some coloring sheets and then even just some STEM engagement pieces for those young learners. And then both of these books actually have access to a STEM playlist in the back. So it's a QR code on the last page. You scan it, and there are seven STEM focused songs that are really cool, different types of music. So there's one that's more Afrobeat style. There's one that's all in Spanish. So really intriguing and just engaging in ways of incorporating and bringing in those STEM concepts. One of the things I created years ago, this is probably 5 years ago now, was Melanated Mathematics, which is math and financial literacy content, but it's all written in the context of Black history and culture. So imagine some of the math problems that you might see in the school, but flipped to a context that has Black history infused. For example, I taught third grade math. One of the major focal points of third grade mathematics is typically multiplication. So in the grade 3 through 4 workbook, as an example, there is a problem about Henrietta Lacks in her multiplying cancer cells. So that type of thing. And then, of course, still bulk orders here. You can get the PDFs of these, which is kind of nice. So, of course, PDFs, number one, you get them immediately, right? You get it delivered via email. And two, it's cheaper, right? And these are a direct purchase through the site. Whereas again, the paperbacks, the physical copies, are going to be processed through Amazon. So if you want to go direct, that's awesome. So you can do that. Bulk orders for that as well. And then the same thing for the financial literacy workbooks. A couple of things about these. Number one, there are three levels written from ages 5 all the way up to roughly 13. So you can look at level 1, 2, or 3. What changes in these is two things: the mathematics uh, difficulty, so it gets more complex, of course, with the higher levels, and then also the Black history context that I use. So I used and wrote and created these historical pieces called melanated memos, which are pieces of Black history that lead into the activity. So you'll learn about, the St. Luke Penny Savings Bank, right, in one of the books, which was a Black-owned bank, and then talk about saving your money in a bank and do math based activities and tasks around that. These all include four different sections: managing money, real estate, stocks and investing, and credit. And all of those are going to be led by the melanated mathematics characters. So there are four characters that lead those. Another really cool thing about these is right on the first page when you open it, there are QR codes that go to directly to chatbots that I created, AI chatbots for each component. So there's a chatbot for managing money, for real estate, for stocks, and for credit. The reason why these exist are basically to extend learning, especially for families at home, to where you can do the activities about, managing money and saving in a bank. But if you can talk to this chatbot and ask it questions like, well, how can I save $1,000 in the next 6 months and get practical information, then I think that would be pretty helpful, right? So those are available as well, also in PDF. So those are the books. I'm going to jump back now to the homepage. We also have a bunch of really cool t-shirts that I'm actually pretty proud of. Of course, you have the Melanated Mathematics t-shirts. The cool thing about these is that in the neck area right there, right in the tag, there's a QR code. So when you scan the QR code, you actually get access to one of the workbooks, one of the grade level workbooks, the digital version of it, of course. So you can check those out. And then down here, we have from uh, Algorithms of Success, the 50 STEM careers basically have been placed on t-shirts. Similar to the Melanated Mathematics t-shirts, these also have a QR code in the tag. And all of these, the QR code will lead to the same place, which is a PDF version, digital version of the Algorithms of Success book. So you get the STEM career, which also has the description, basically of that particular job on the back. So all 50 of those. Keeping on going, we got classes, so offering online, basically intro to AI classes. Here we got a bunch of resources. There are a bunch of free resources, including the first two here, which are the read alouds actually for those books. So, Algorithms of Success, you can listen to and watch me basically read all 50 of those careers from the book. And then for the other read aloud is A is for Algorithm, just a complete read through, almost like if you've ever seen Reading Rainbow, for example. It's basically that, right? And then a couple of others. These two are not free. I always try to make that disclaimer. Um, you have a physical set of game cards, and then there are digital cards here. So the physical cards are math game cards that I created for Melanated Mathematics. So you get 48 cards, a nice little carrying case, and then within that you also get a list of instructions, basically like I think it's between 10 and 15 different games, math games that you can play with these cards. On one side, you have the numerals, and on the other side, you have melanated mathematics characters. And then the STEM career cards are physical. These cards are actually what the book Algorithms of Success is based on, where I took 50 STEM career cards, different STEM careers, and of course gave it, great imagery, but at the same time gave a description of what that career is. So you'll see 50 of these, and those are in alphabetical order. And that, again, if you order that, it's a digital download. More free. We got STEM education tips, which is a running playlist that I'm creating, and then just some more math and learning tips here that I produced a while back. And then there's also some free resources. So these are free digital downloads. So if you click here, you actually get access to, I think it's like 5 or 6 different downloads. And then there is also a homeschool focused chatbot that I created, where you can go in if you're a homeschooling parent, even if you're not a homeschooler, you can still leverage this and basically ask about, how can I introduce this to my child, or what resources are available for this topic or whatever. And of course, it will provide that insight. And then there are two others here. This is just for more like, if you're a research person or you want to, learn more about like where we are. The State of STEM report, I actually worked with an AI tool to produce a report of like where we are in the landscape. Going into services, so there are two here that I'm primarily focused on. The one is the future guidance for youth and families. So if you are a parent, guardian, and you're basically in need of support with guidance of your particular, child or adolescent, in a lot of different capacities. So basically looking at like from grades K through 12, essentially. So for younger learners, kind of like, maybe you have a child who excels in math or STEM related subjects, like, and you're like, well, what do I do next? How do I support them? I can help with that. Then a lot of those things, basically success plans and things like that for families and our youth. And then the second one is educational consulting, which is a little bit more organizational and like business to business focus. So if you're creating any type of curriculum or producing any type of resources, or putting some programming together, that type of thing. I've done a bunch of consulting endeavors independently, and then also just like as a part or in partnership, I should say, with other organizations. So definitely happy to support with that, including like AI implementation and that type of thing. And then last but not least, the scholarship. So I created this scholarship in memory of my mom 4 years ago, and have been awarding scholarships. So we have our 4 scholarship winners listed here. So here are the first 3, and then just this past year, 2025, here's our fourth winner. You can click here to support. And then what support looks like for this is kind of like 3-tiered. The first is basically you can share this with other people, right? That's doesn't cost anything. The second is, of course, all of the resources and products and things that I've shared, even the services, tapping into those things because I mean, basically, I am kind of fueling and funding this thing. Um, in 2 parts, right? So that way, right, if you buy a book, it's not just you buying a book, you're actually making an investment. So at least a few of those dollars that you've paid for that book are going to actually be funneled into this because it is a scholarship fund and not just a singular scholarship. It's a fund that revolves every year. So it's always being replenished. So there's money going into it all year long. And then we basically award that money and then just replenish it. So the goal is to build it out to the point where, replenishing it is not as tedious. But the third thing is that you can actually donate directly to the scholarship. So if you don't want to pay for a resource, you don't want to buy a book, you don't trust me, you don't want to give me your money, cool. You can go directly to the platform that is hosting it because this scholarship fund is set up on a nonprofit platform called bold.org. So basically, you can make a contribution here, and all of your contributions are going to be 100% tax deductible, right? It doesn't cost anything additional if you add money here. And then, of course, again, kind of tracking this, all of it goes to the scholarship recipient. So you can donate there and get a tax write-off. So that is the gist of STEM 1000 and what I'm doing. I'm glad that people have tapped in. Appreciate everybody's support. If I can be of assistance at all, definitely don't hesitate to reach out. And looking forward to continue to grow.